Welcome back to my shop. I am so glad you're here. I have an update for you on the J-3P project. So just a little bit of recap. I am starting a bunch of my dream planes. And this is a Piper Cub, but the J-3P is an odd variant in that it had a radial engine. It was a 3-cylinder radial engine. The engine was called the LENAPE PAPOOSE. Very fun engine name to say. Anyway, so I'm starting with a Hangar 9 quarter scale Cub ARF, and I have started to make better. Yeah, so the thing is that you're gonna have hardware stuff, so make sure you save on to your old servo boxes. They make good hardware cases for each of your projects. Yeah, so we have a horizontal stabilizer and another horizontal stabilizer. And so what you don't see is all of that. Yeah, that's literally garbage. Okay, so the reason we have that is because we pulled off all the covering from the horizontal stabilizer and we recovered with Oratex. Oratex is this awesome stuff that is textured like a fabric. And what's nice about it is that it's very forgiving. It stretches quite well. It's not like the plastic kind of coverings. And so it's nice in that way because it makes me look like a better covering expert than I really am. just leaving it out there. I'm very transparent that covering is not my strong point. I'm getting better, but yeah, not the greatest. So yeah, you just use a heat gun and just heat up the covering and it'll get soft and you can peel it. You can use like tweezers or your fingernail to dig at it and just pull it off of the frame and throw it in the garbage can. Now, the thing is that you have to do this kind of strategically. Yeah, I've already done the wings. The wings are stripped down and completely covered at this point. I have one aileron covered. I have one aileron waiting on covering. And so additionally, I have this door for the side of the fuselage also covered. I stripped it down and also took the hardware off. The hinges were brass colored. Honestly, there was some corrosion on it, so I took a wire wheel and knocked the corrosion off, put some yellow Rust-Oleum on it, call it done, because that'll blend in nicely where those hinges go. All right, so moving on to the blurry bit in the background. Just a quick note that I will be using Dubro hardware again. As you may have noticed, on the hinges, I'm using pin hinges, not using CA hinges, because gross, very gross. Fuselage in the bones. So the same technique, okay? Use the heat gun, and you can heat stuff up and pull all this off. I covered this on the last project, the PT19 wing. This is all straightforward stuff covered on the channel before. What we have to do is a whole bunch of interior bits. So while the fuselage is completely stripped down, we have this lovely cockpit interior, and that is in part visualized by this. Now, this is a seat bottom, actually. It fits in like similar like that. Still got to jimmy it in there a little bit, but there's a switch. The main power switch goes on the bottom of the seat. So when everything is put together, you open up the hatch down and the window up, and then you reach in and hit the switch to turn the airplane on. Okay, so we can go with the NFC switch if I use the right receiver. That's an option, or I could just use the switch because this is a very basic airplane. I don't even have flaps on this plane. Could I add flaps? Sure, yeah, I could. Did the LENAPE PAPOOSE version, the J-3P, did it have flaps? No. Did not. So I am still waiting for a good opportunity to meet with the owner of the full-scale J-3P, and I want to try to replicate that as much as possible. So that includes the interior. If it is yellow, then I will repaint the yellow that is in it because it doesn't match the yellow of the Oratex. It's a little too dark. It's not a good Cub yellow in my opinion. So yeah, gotta get a color paint match sample for the Oratex, which is not a big deal, but it could be a different color. It could be green, it could be brown, it could be black. There's any number of combinations. But getting back to the seat real quick. The seat pieces come like this, but I did clean them off very, very well. They're plastic, all right? They've got some wood backing. It's all glued in, but it looked a little, just a little too plasticky, too glossy. And even still, I'm trying to go for like a leather, not a leather, but even like a vine, not a vine, I don't know, fake leather. It doesn't quite look right yet. I'm gonna try. So I put a couple of light coats of semi-gloss clear on here. There were some superficial scratches, and I'm like, that's fine. I don't care. The clear coat on top will help dull this down, and it did. But I'm not entirely satisfied yet. I'm gonna try some satin and see how that goes. I do have matte, but I really don't want to go that way. I don't think that'll look right at all. So I'm gonna do a test hit probably on this bottom seat cushion, because actually I'll probably use this one because this one sits in the back and the pilot will sit in the back. Full body pilot that goes in here. So he'll cover up most of that if this is gonna look slightly different than the rest. So yeah, I'll do a test pattern there. And other than that, I've been prepping, like making sure that each one of these panels, like the floor, the battery hatch here, and then there's a deck here, and then a servo tray that goes right here, making sure all of those pieces of wood fit just right. I also found the servo covers for the wings. I had to recover those as well. So yeah, it's just been lots and lots and lots of little tiny things. And that's how this project is gonna go. It's a culmination of a lot of really small things. And I've got a fresh roll of Oratex on its way. And so that's why I've been doing all these little hardware bits and bobs and little tiny details, because it's gonna matter. One thing that I have to look forward to is painting plastic, like the windshield. It does have some yellow on it. I have to mask it off. It's not a fun job. It's not easy. You have to have a really steady hand. But nevertheless, necessary evil. Not a huge deal. Oh, I got a prop. Yeah, a nice Zor prop. It's a 16.8. Should do fine for the Sato 3-cylinder. I will probably be getting that on the stand before too long. I want to try to break it in on the engine stand, but the thing is, I'm going to be busy with stuff all the way through into like mid-late October. Busy guy, busy time of year, busy time of year. I got events, I've got stuff, just life going on too, work. I got a couple of trips planned. So we'll see. I'll put it on the stand, see if I can get it running. I want to try to do it before it gets cold, because I am going to keep this glow for the time being, mostly because the appearance of the glow driver on the glow heads is going to look much more scaled than if I were to do a CDI conversion. It'll look too big and bulky. So I'm going to leave this glow. It's going to be a little slimy. That's okay. The exhaust is going to be on the other side where the door is, not where the door is. So cleanup should be pretty minimal, and I shouldn't have any real mess inside of the cockpit, which will be nice. But it involves some clever plumbing of the exhaust. I'm not going to lie. I've got some ideas on on a fuel tank. There's some really smart scale guys out there, I tell you. And you know, a cub is just so well loved. So I've got some really good ideas of stuff coming there. So here's one last look at the cub as she stands. Lots of things yet to do. And I'm just excited to finally build one of my forever and dream planes. This is going to be an absolute treat. I couldn't be more thrilled about this. As always, thank you so much for following along on my projects. I hope you learned something. I know there's really nothing new here that I haven't covered previously on my channel, but sometimes it is good to review. And with that, please review the things that you might need over at dubro.com and use code Josh10 at checkout. Save yourself 10%. We got build season coming up, guys. You better start stocking up and plan for those projects. I always say that the best projects happen with very carefully laid plans. And that includes making sure you got all your parts on hand so that you have no delays as you build. And with that, I'm going to encourage you. Make sure that you are working on your dream flying works of art.